Welcome. Make sure all the audio and everything is looking good. All right, welcome, man. We back, episode 2 of Hey Jai. Um, as you don't know, this is all part of the NIT Pod Network. I know you kind of see the logos in the background and everything, but this is kind of like my solo thing, where I'm just going through my thoughts, things that I might have saw during the week. I'm recently on Twitter, so that's new. So just funny things that I might have found, or just things that I kind of want to talk about throughout the week, conversations that I might have had with my folks, or just people in my life in general, things that I just want to get my thoughts on. So this is Hey Jai. As always, subscribe to NIT Pod TV on YouTube. Check us out on Twitch, NIT Pod TV. We're also on Spotify. New podcast dropping every Tuesday or Thursday. Depends on if we're on time. NIT podcast. But without further ado, let's get to the Hey Jai. So just as a quick recap, like I said, this is just a place for me to get my thoughts off. And this sparked from my friends in college. Shout out to the house. Whenever they had a question or something interesting or just anything that they wanted to ponder, they would always come to me and they'll say, Hey, Jai, most specifically, my roommate Black. So, you've seen him on the podcast a couple of times, most of the time. So that's where that came from. But just some things that I've came across today, um, or this week rather, that I want to talk about. So let's just go ahead and get right to it. First thing, the TikTok ban. So if you haven't been in the news or on the internet, really, uh, right now Congress is voting on bills to ban the use of TikTok in America, because it's a Chinese-owned company. It's one of the largest social platforms in America, in the world, actually, and they're accused of harvesting our data. All these social sites take our data, they sell it to different companies and things like that. But TikTok is accused of selling it to the Chinese government. The American system doesn't like that, and I would definitely say do some better research than what I can give you about the actual whole ordeal. My, I guess, opinions are going to be mostly based on the reactions that I've seen from it. Right. Essentially, how this is going to affect content creators. As somebody who just came to the content space, at first, I personally was like, this is just no big deal. Go get it on another platform. But seeing people that have built their audiences completely off of TikTok, I'm sure this can be a troubling time for them, considering that the U.S. government is definitely trying to regulate it. Because TikTok is probably the largest social platform that didn't come from America. Facebook or Meta, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, all that came from American companies. I think Spotify. I think that's Swedish, if I'm not mistaken. That's probably the only one, but I mean, it's not like social media, right? TikTok is the most social media thing ever, and the highly addictive nature of TikTok, the amount of eyes and viewership and things that are going on there, the fact that the United States can't regulate it, I'm sure they'll have a problem with it. But just some kind of overall thoughts on TikTok. It's a fun app. I got off it for a long time. Well, not for a long time, but for a time. Um, because I do think that it's one of those things that I feel like can kill your attention span pretty easy. Because I don't think that we're supposed to be getting that much instantaneous entertainment that fast, right? We had something similar whenever I was in high school. I'm kind of aging myself here, but Vine, that's whenever you get little 6 second clips, and you just scroll through. But TikTok is different because like it's giving you stuff that you know it's really deep into your algorithm, and it's super profitable. I got friends that work in the music industry. They, create fan pages and push songs through TikTok. People push their products through TikTok, where there's like drop shipping stores, things like that. People push, multi-level marketing through TikTok or any kind of brand or, content creation just from TikTok, just from using the trends, those TikTok sounds. Like the whole thing itself is addictive. You can go down like a wormhole of TikTok of just you can find a bunch of funny stuff all day. You can find a bunch of ignorant stuff all day, recipes, dogs, fight videos, things like that. I got on TikTok around 2020, like everybody else. At first, I wasn't here for it because I just saw people doing little stupid dances to it, and then getting famous off of that. But then I finally got onto it. I found a couple things that I thought interested me, but then I found myself on it like way too much. And then even whenever I wasn't on it, it just made it harder for me to focus on other stuff. I truly believe that it kind of killed my attention span for a second there. Like I couldn't stop and like read a book or watch a basketball game or watch a show or something for longer than like 5-10 minutes without me wanting to go pick up my phone and just start scrolling. Or if I had to watch like a longer video about something, it was hard to keep my attention for longer than like those few couple of seconds that come on the average TikTok video. So um, financially, in terms of just people keeping their freedoms and things like that, I think the government kind of needs to chill out. Because a lot of people have, made success off of TikTok. Shout out to the food reviewer guy, Keith Lee. Man, he's had such an interesting story. He was one of the few people I actually did follow on TikTok a lot because he used to like cook stuff, and I like watching cooking videos. But he's reviewing local restaurants, helping grow their business and things like that in his area. And he was a MMA fighter. I don't know if he's still active or not. But man, he said he was just down on his luck, and then he found a social media platform just to kind of express himself. And he said to get better at public speaking, and then look at him now, man. He's created a revenue stream. He's created a you know just a lane of income for himself and for his family. And I think that's one of the good things that can come from social media, that can come from all these content creation sites, is that you do have different avenues in terms of creating income, creating wealth for your family, even just as freedom to express yourself. But kind of like I said in the last Hey Jai, I think that some people share too much. I do think that it can create false senses of expectation. It can kind of it becomes an escape from reality that people try to warp into reality, right? I do think that social media creates a big thing of groupthink, right? In TikTok itself, everything that blows up on TikTok, you have one person that's creative, and then you have millions of other people just copying what they're doing. From dances to using sounds to trends to using captions, and it's just all, we find it entertaining, but it's just a bunch of different people doing the same thing, and only probably like one person came up with the idea, right? So this kind of poses me up to the next question. You know, hey Jai, is individualism lost? I think in general, yeah. I think in general, a lot of people, and the title of this show is called "Creativity versus Execution," which I'll kind of dive a little bit deeper into that. But I do think in general that people aren't being individuals whenever it comes to things that they want to do. And I'm not saying that you can't be inspired by somebody, whether that's a way to create wealth or a way to express yourself online, create content, things like that. I mean, hell, I got a podcast. I said, hell, I had to stop cursing this much. No, my grandma watches this. So, but I mean, like, I started a podcast. Millions of people started a podcast since like 2020. Who didn't, right? I started creating content, but for me, it was never about like the bag or anything like that. It's just something that I want to do with my friends and something that I found out that I like. Um, but to say that this is individualized, no, I didn't reinvent the wheel. I'm not the first person to stick a microphone and just start sharing their thoughts by far. And I feel like a lot of people have gone that way, but let's move it just a little bit away from content creation, man. Let's go to something like style. You know what I'm saying? Like in clothing style. Like I grew up in the South. I grew up in South Louisiana. To me, that was the only style that I knew until I went to other places. Right? Air Force Ones, we called them G Knights. You know, y'all call them G Fazos now because that got popular in like the Midwest and because of G Herbo and shit like that. Or just people just be like straight forces and stuff like that. But it's kind of like everybody kind of had like their own style of dress. Um, people just maneuvered differently. People dressed differently. People had different slang. And I feel like in a lot of places that's kind of gone away. And I think that social media kind of played a big part in that. You know, a lot of y'all are just copycats of each other. I remember earlier in 2022, everybody started saying pushing P. Everybody was like, that's P. You know what I'm saying? Like people that you never heard say that ever in life. Right. Or let's go back even further because I really think it started back in like, well, I really first noticed it in like 2015 ish or something like that. Whenever the Chicago drill rappers they started giving out their slang, you know what I'm saying ops and gang gang and all that, you know what I'm saying? Like it's stuff like, bro, you don't talk like that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody, you from Thibodaux, Louisiana, you don't talk like that. You don't say that. You from Atlanta. That's not your verbiage. That's not what you say, right? But then whenever Atlanta blew up and that became the popular thing, everybody started saying cap. Cap. And it's like people just kind of lost being individualistic. I understand the thing about trends, but it's just going to like now, like outside of somebody just having like a thick ass accent, you wouldn't know where anybody's from. Y'all all be from the same place. Y'all all use the same lingo. Y'all all dress the same. Y'all all after being on Twitter, y'all all tweet the same. Uh, a little image has been going around. Next time I'll prep it, I'll have it pulled up. But it's the guy to be like, oh, what opinion would have you like this? Since a little cartoon character all the sorts of them. So basically, supposed to give you unpopular opinions, and like every three opinions are the same pretty much. What's unpopular opinions about men, women, even that thing, the whole gender war thing. One person got popular off of doing it, then everybody want to do it. Kevin Samuels popped, he went viral doing it. Now every dude with a suit and a Red Bull thinks that they can tell you how to go pull a woman. You know what I'm saying? Or everybody wants to be an alpha male now or something like that. Excuse my dog. But one second, brief intermission. Well, that was awkward. Uh, but no, what was I saying? Yeah, individualism being lost. I feel like that a lot of people they just aren't comfortable being themselves, right? You know, I feel like a lot of people they like the same things because those things are cool to like. Not saying that it isn't good, but it works. That kind of brings me to the creativity versus execution discussion, right? I kind of thought about this whenever thinking about shows. Um, the popular shows right now, at least in the black community, Snowfall, BMF, Power, you know what I'm saying? All the drug dealer shows, right? That's what's popping right now. All different, I will say that. Some based off historical events and things like that, but I mean, it's pretty much in the same vein. But then you have Donald Glover coming out to where he shook up the wheel. He created Swarm. Um, so if you haven't seen Swarm, it's an Amazon show. I'm sure you've probably seen it go viral. Well, at least the first scene of Chloe Bailey in the sex scene with Damson Idris, right? And that was kind of viral, but that was a good way to try to draw people into the show. It's a show on Amazon Prime that kind of attacks stan culture. Whenever you're just like a big fan of somebody, it's kind of attacking the Beehive, or I guess a satire version of the Beehive, and it's basically just kind of like the plot of the show: murders music fans, right? People that are so ingratiated to this fake Beyonce. She's not. It's a spoof of Beyonce, and it's a group of people that go around murdering people in the name of I forgot what her name was. I think it was like Nija or something like that, right? And so while creative, that's different. Nobody's doing that. I watched the first episode. It was kind of boring. It just had like that shock value of like, oh wow, she killed somebody because of this actress. And oh yeah, Chloe Bailey's in there. She's attractive. And that was it. All right. But it didn't really get my interest. Some people say that it gets really good. Some people like it. I didn't really get it. But I feel like that was more focused on the creativity part of it. It was just kind of like, I'm gonna be so far against what the norm is of just making a rap show or a drug dealer show or a show about uh, this crime family or a show about medieval times or anything like that. Whenever Game of Thrones came out, it was Game of Thrones and then Vikings and then Spartacus and then all this other stuff. All right, those came out, and then I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people they kind of ride a very similar wave of what works. Right? They see something that works and then they try to do it. Well, in this case, Donald Glover went so far against that he decided to. To me personally, I don't think that he focused so much on execution. I think that he was going more so towards the shock value and the fact that nobody's done this before. And I've actually had this conversation with a friend of mine. Um, I always accuse him. I was just be like, bro, you don't care how. We always talk about this with music. He likes whenever rappers step out of their wheelhouse. I'm like, sometimes if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? But some people they will go and reinvent the wheel, but the majority of people they'll rather go and it works. So I'm just gonna copy and paste that and do it in real time. Hell, people do it with the podcast thing. If you watch some of our earlier episodes, before we started showing the cameras and how we used to talk, and whenever we were playing the game and things like that, we tried to copy Joe Budden. Shout out to Joe Budden and them, RDC, freaking AMP, pretty much any group of men that were talking about fun stuff, we tried to just copy and paste that. Right. And I feel like that once you kind of find your own identity, your own lane, that helps. Once you find that, it's very scary. I'm not gonna say scary, but it's a risk, right? It's a risk that you have to take because you haven't seen anybody do it like you before. You haven't seen anybody make it work before, and this is not just in content creation. This is in like anything, whether it's trying to find a niche job or you're trying to build a business or a brand, or you want to wear your clothes a certain style. You want to do your hair a certain style. All that stuff kind of comes from it's a ledge that you have to want to stand on. And are you going to stand on those feet, or are you going to be more so focused on, okay, I don't want to miss out. I don't want to miss out on this, right? I don't want to be the excluded person. I don't want to stick out, right? Sticking out can be a good thing or a bad thing. Some people they just want to be in the mix, kind of brings me up to the next thing, right? FOMO, which I will address in 1 second. Another. And then God said, "Let there be light." I think he said that on the first day. I don't know. My mom's a pastor. I should know that. But FOMO, or fear of missing out. I'm in my early 20s. I feel like that this is something that plagues a lot of people, right? Because everybody wants to be in the mix. Everybody wants to be mixy. Everybody wants to be in the know. You know, they got this party going on, promoted, and somebody posting it. You want to be at that party. If they got, you know, oh, I'm in on watching this show, or oh, I'm hip to this album, or oh, I'm going to this concert, and yeah, or you know, it just happens. It's a lot of people are scared to not be in the mix. They don't want to miss out on something, right? And I think in your 20s, it's such a weird time, right? Because you're like, you want to devote a lot of your time, or some people, you want to devote a lot of your time to establishing your future, setting yourself up, right? But then there's also the, oh, I'm in my 20s. I want to look back and say that I enjoyed my 20s, that I was able to go to this party, go to this club, or this celebrity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I feel like a lot of people kind of struggle with that dichotomy. And I think that, it truly is a struggle. Some people would say that I'm not really worried about it, but they'll go and do a certain thing. But a lot of people do struggle with that. Most of my friends, all of my friends are in their 20s. I hear them. you know, um, they have a fear. Not a fear, but I know some people that are generally disappointed whenever they are at home enjoying themselves on a weekend night or something like that, or not enjoying themselves, but like you know, just the thought of relaxing is bad, right? But then there's also the thought of, oh, I'm not on my grind is bad. So it's a lot of things that I feel like everybody wants to show you that you should be doing, and I don't think a lot of people are taking the time to learn what works for them, or what are they doing for themselves. A lot of people, they just don't want to miss out, and every experience ain't worth being involved in. It's cool to stay out the mix sometimes, right? It's cool to stay out the mix a lot of times, really, because if it's not for you, why are you even making yourself do it? Why are you making yourself go there? Do you actually enjoy being in that space? Is that actually an activity that you enjoy doing? Are those people that you actually want to be around? Those are things that you should ask yourself before you step out, for real, for real. Whether that's you hear it a lot with the entrepreneur thing, right? Everybody doesn't want to be an entrepreneur, but a lot of people feel pressured into going in that space. They feel pressured into saying that, oh, okay, I listen to Earn Your Leisure and The Master Investor too. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm doing this with my money. Now, don't get me wrong, we live in a capitalistic society, and that's smart, all right? But I'm gonna be honest, if it's something that you don't want to do, or it's something that you don't feel like that it can actually benefit you, and you're just doing it because a bunch of other people are doing it, you're gonna half-ass it, and you're not gonna be good at it. All right. And I think that a lot of people are kind of half-ass in life, uh, to look fun, to look like they're mixy, to look like they okay, yeah, they popping on the gram and stuff like that. All right. Man, I have been very good on the cursing this episode. Just a little round of applause for me. Wait till I get sounds. Really turn this bitch up. But no, I think that FOMO is a very, very big thing. I'm not even gonna say people in our 20s. Even some older people are starting to experience it now. People who feel, I guess, unfulfilled in your life. So, you know, I should say a lot of people should take some time. Um, get off the internet. Stop comparing your lives to other people. Stop worrying about that you're missing out on something that they're doing, because that person is genuinely enjoying what they're doing, or they could be, or they couldn't be. It doesn't matter. You don't know. You'll never know. So make sure that you're doing things that you genuinely enjoy, or things that you feel genuinely be beneficial to you. Right? Learn some discipline. learn yourself, learn what you like, learn, things that it's just like, man, I'm not about to do this. I'm not about to commit to this. You know, for me, like for instance, I don't drink. I don't drink anymore. But whenever I used to go out, or whenever I would go out, I would drink. But it's kind of like, okay, well, I don't like going out that much. That's why I got to drink. So it's like, okay, started going out, then not drinking while I was going out. I didn't like it because it wasn't fun. It was just a bunch of people. I probably knew like one or two people that I wouldn't talk to. Music, every 4 or 5 songs that I liked, the other four I didn't care about. I'm not about to dance, So it's just like, okay, cool. So what they do, that made me kind of shift my focus. So now I care less about missing out. And it's like, okay, how can I get serious about producing my content, doing Hey Jai and the NIT podcast, subscribe to the NIT podcast, NIT Pod TV, right? So it's just little things like that it'll make you learn yourself. And once you get rid of that fear of missing out on stuff, man, you'll really succeed. That's a funny little comment. Malik Vinny. I'm just assuming it's Malik. All right. But yeah, so you just kind of go from there. But I mentioned something that a bunch of people are doing it, because missing out isn't just fun or entertainment. A lot of people are doing it with, wealth, business. Man, Dogecoin crypto had y'all in the chokehold. Everybody made a bunch of money off of Bitcoin, and then as soon as they came out with every other kind of coin, y'all was just eating that shit up, burning your money. Oh, that's on stop personal. Sorry, Grandma. And now look what happened. You know what I'm saying? Or whenever NFTs came out, y'all didn't want to miss the next thing, right? Instead of thinking of ways, or actually sitting there and learning ways, or learning trends, or being kind of ahead of the game on ways to be financially successful, right? Y'all wanted to kind of show that y'all in the mix. So this kind of brings me to, I guess, kind of like the last thing I want to talk about. Do people really want greatness? Right? And I see this in a lot of aspects, right? This is actually something I've been thinking on for like a very, very long time, right? Do people actually want greatness? And I think that, at least from a male perspective, I think that a lot of people want to be the man, but I don't think that they want to do anything to be the man. This is kind of like an analogy, right? So I'm gonna just use the first one that comes to mind. So it's kind of like back in pretty much human history, the most dominant male, the strongest male, the richest male, the king, the royalty, whatever. That was the guy who got all the women. All right. Now a bunch of dudes are trying to get a lot of women, sleep with a lot of women, just so they can feel like that they're the guy. Right? I know dudes that would dap up and be like, "Oh, that's big bro," to a bunch of other grown men just because that they pop a lot of girls and that they aren't. You know what I'm saying? Or it's like, "Oh, he's going with a fine girl," so it's like, "Oh yeah, he's the man," or something like that. But I'm just kind of like, that's cool, but what did he do to be the man? Right? I think a lot of people, and this isn't just gender specific, that's just the first example I could think of, right? But I feel like a lot of people want to look like that they're busy, or that they're hustling, or that they're on the track to greatness, or to this high level of achievement. And in actuality, I don't think that they really want that. I think that they want what comes with it. I think that they want the fame that comes with it. I think that they want the adulation, right? They want people to look at them and be like, "Yo, he's really him." My favorite movie, Paid in Full, right? Yeah, it's my favorite movie, Paid in Full. They got a scene. It's two characters. It's Mitch, money making Mitch, and Ace Boogie, right? And it's a scene where they're in the club, and then Ace sitting in the back, he chilling in the cut, right? He got just as much money as Mitch, right? You got money making Mitch. He out in front. Everybody dapping him up. He got the fly clothes on. He got the love from everybody, right? Because that's what he did it for. That's what he was in the game. They were drug dealers, so that's what he sold drugs for, right? That's what he stacked his money up for. Like, of course, it was to get the money, but he wanted the love. He wanted to be the hood famous. Ace, he didn't want none of that. Ace just wanted money. That's all he was worried about. He was working at the dry cleaner. He was tired of being broke. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's a lot of people want to be Mitch. And nothing wrong with being Mitch, but understand why you're doing it. And I think a lot of people want to be Mitch without the money, to be honest with you. Um, they want that emphasis of looking busy. Like I said, I have a lot of friends that, well, not a lot of friends, but I have some friends that work in the music industry and things like that. One friend in particular has done a lot in the studio, often has been in the studio with great names, right? You don't really see them post about it. You don't really see them, fake looking busy. You don't see the offshoot of like, oh, I'm looking like I'm working at the computer at the soundboard. You know what I'm saying? No, they're just actually in there working, right? And then I know plenty of people who, I went to college in Atlanta. Everybody in their mama tried to do some shit in music. I know plenty of people that it's like every other post, we working, we grinding, we in LA with it, we in New York with it. You know what I'm saying? Or they just taking random studio flicks, random candid shots of just kind of like used to pray for this shit, blah, blah, blah. But you never see them actually doing anything. You don't see anything being produced from it, any fruits from their labors from it. But they just want to look busy. And I feel like that's a lot of people. They want to look like they're hustling. They want people to, pardon my French, but they want people to be on their nuts. A lot of people want success only to get success for a lot of people is wanting other people to look at them as successful. They want them to look at them as the man. I got a friend that almost started his own fraternity because he saw the love that frat dudes were getting on their probate. Like that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. He didn't want it for brotherhood or nothing like that. He wanted it because he wanted attention. He wanted attention from women and people to be like, "Yo, you really him? You really the man? Congratulations! Blah, 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 blah. Let me join your club or something like that." It's like, no, bro. Like I don't know. Some of that's weird to me, and I feel like a lot of people are on that. Man, whenever you talk about yourself for like 33 minutes with no breaks, it's very interesting. But yeah, I would say that's pretty much, my thoughts on that. It's just kind of like people really don't want to be great anymore. I think that because we see so many people at varying ages, at varying, using various methods that I don't want to say tips and tricks, but just undiscovered avenues to different forms of success. And then they see how the people love them, the people care about them because of those forms of success. They try to just manufacture said success in the exact same way and without really kind of, do you really want to get in the trenches for it? Do you really want to walk in it? Do you actually want to be great, or do you just want, all the perks that come with it? And if you just want the perks of people, loving you or being loved in the court of public opinion, then, go for it. But I do think a lot of y'all just kind of masquerade greatness or masquerade effort. It's not really about effort with you. It's about looking busy. And you got to kind of watch out for that because eventually you're going to have to do some work, or eventually, people just not going to care about you anymore. And then what? Chris Rock said it best. Attention right now is the biggest epidemic in America. Well, I think that's what he said. He said something like it. I don't know. That special wasn't that funny. But a lot of y'all do stuff for attention, man. And I'm definitely going to talk about that on the next Hey Jai for sure. But it's just been a quick little powwow. If I had to give a sign off, man, don't be afraid to be an individual. Don't let, circumstances stop you from doing what you want to do, man. If you really want something bad enough, you'll just have to fight through the circumstance. Everybody is raising the same. Some people gonna get a head start, some people not. You just gonna kind of have to deal with it. To all the creators out there, if TikTok bans, go to another platform, make you a website, get you a Patreon, get you an OnlyFans. I don't know, turn up, right? To everybody that feels like you have to be like somebody else to be cool, nah, go try that shit. Go get purple hair, or do whatever. Don't don't wear them stupid red boots though. I don't care if you are being an individual. It's not it, bro. And you're not really missing out on nothing, man. So hey, subscribe to the NIT Pod TV for more content like this. So I'm just kind of rambling, giving my unfiltered thoughts. I promise you, it'll be a little bit cleaner as we progress. This is a learning process for me, but hey, it's a live broadcast. Y'all seeing me really wanting to be great in real time. Trying to be like a Black David Letterman, or trying to think of a talk show host, or be like a Bomani Jones. Shout out to him. Really, just I don't know. I feel like I found my lane of something that I want to go to, and so I think that everybody should sit back, learn yourself, and try to find yours, man. It's a lot of different avenues to make money, live a happy life. Life's too short to not try to go find a goal and achieve it. So go do that. Again, subscribe to NIT Pod TV on YouTube or Twitch. You're probably watching this. I did create a banner. I thought I created a banner of Twitter and Instagram, but follow me on Instagram at JB_Corleone_. If you don't know how to spell Corleone, then go watch The Godfather and go watch Paid in Full. New episodes of the NIT podcast drop on Spotify every Tuesday, drop on YouTube every Thursday. And yeah, it's your boy, Jai Almighty, or just Jai. And we out.